Okay, let's look at Week 2 Grammar, page 97, exercises C and D, telling the difference between verbs and infinitives and telling the difference between verbs and verbals. Now remember, a verbal is a word that's made up of verb parts, but it's not acting like a verb. So, this particular exercise on page 97 in your workbook asks you to underline each verb twice and then circle each infinitive. Remember, an infinitive is the word to plus a simple form of a verb that equals the infinitive. So, some examples I've given here, if I can get this Word document to act correctly, okay, would be to skate, to run, to eat, to love, to sleep, to pray. You get the idea. All right, so sentence number 1, which is not part of your exercise but can help us anyway, on page 97, let's get it down here on its own little page, is to know him is to love him is to serve him. So the instructions say to underline each verb twice, circle each infinitive. So in this sentence, what I'm going to do is underline the verb of the sentence. Where is my underline? My double underline. Let me get my little scratchy pen out here. Get it to work. Okay, so I'm going to double underline the verbs in the sentence. Okay, is and is. And then I'm going to circle the infinitives. To know, to love, and to serve. Now in Brain Honey, when you do the exercise, you're going to be choosing from a list of items. So in Brain Honey, it's going to ask you to find the infinitive or infinitives in the sentence, and then the next question is going to give you the same sentence and ask you to find the verbs of the sentence. So in that instance, you would put, like there's going to be a little checkbox here, and you would select the appropriate checkbox. Okay, you get the idea. And so for this sentence, there would be a little checkbox over there, and you would put it next to the verb. Because this one you're looking for the infinitive, and this one you're looking for the verb. Okay, so let's look at number 3. The cross is the only ladder high enough to touch heaven's threshold. So once again, we're going to underline the verb of the sentence, which is. Just as a little side note, cross is the subject. Okay, cross is. Okay, so where's our infinitive? To and a verb. To and touch, that's a verb, so that's our infinitive. So in Brain Honey, you would choose, for the finding the infinitives, you would only choose this particular one here, this phrase in the list. And whenever it's asking you to find the verbs, you would choose this one to find the verb here. See, verbs. Let's go ahead and put this over here to not be confusing. Oops, wrong color. Sorry. Okay. I don't want anybody to be confused. Okay, so is the verb, to touch is the infinitive. Okay, last one. We're not going to do the little table here. I'm just going to do the little underlines. To punish the just is not good. Is the verb. To punish the just is actually the infinitive phrase. It's acting as the subject, but here's the infinitive. Now, some of you are probably very thankful that we don't do diagramming in this class. We don't do it for a grade. But I want to show you what it would look like, because diagramming is what helped me understand grammar more than anything else, and maybe it will help you too. So I'm going to draw a diagram here, a little scritchy scratch diagram. And this is how a diagram starts. Over here you put the subject, over here you put the verb. And everything that goes with the verb will go over on this side, and everything that goes with the subject will go over on this side. So let's start with the verb since we know that. We'll put is over here. To punish the just is not good. Alright, so is a linking verb, and it's going to have what we call a predicate adjective, which is an adjective that talks about the subject. To punish the just. What is not good? To punish the just. Okay, and the not is an adverb that talks about good. Remember, negative words are always adverbs. No, not, never. Okay, those are all adverbs. Okay, so we got the verb side sorted out. Now what are we going to do with these words left over here? Well, the way you diagram an infinitive is you just make a little platform because it's acting as the verb of the sentence. What is not good? To punish the just. Okay, actually should cut off right there. So then you put, let me get this right here. Where did my little, there it goes. Okay. So you're going to put the to on this line and the verb on this line. To punish, that's our infinitive. To punish whom? Just. And then the is an article talking about just, so actually it should be over there. Let me see if I can get that in the right spot so it's not confusing. I apologize for this. Just bear with me. I'll get it right here in a minute. Okay. Okay. So, to punish the just is called an infinitive phrase. And that whole phrase is acting as the subject of the sentence. Is the verb, good is the predicate adjective. Okay? But for this exercise, all you have to do is find to punish. That's all you have to do. Okay, let's go on to the next one. We're not just talking about infinitives anymore. We're talking about all three kinds of verbals. So the three kinds of verbals are gerund, participle, and infinitive, which we just talked about. Now you've already done exercises A and B, which talk about participles and gerunds. And now we're putting it all together. Okay, so let's go down here to this little page down here. Remember, a verbal is verbs, words that are made up of verbs. Okay? Words made up of verbs that act like either adjectives, adverbs, or nouns. That's what a verbal is. Okay? We're going to go back up here. Sorry for my scratch on my writing there. Gerunds and infinitives are the two that act like nouns. A participle will act only as an adjective or an adverb. Okay, okay. So underline each verb twice, circle each verbal. Let's find the verbs first. Running water is not so easily frozen as standing water. Is. He apologized for speaking angrily. Apologized is the verb. Doing the will of God is the sole purpose of man. Is. Choosing Jesus Christ as your Savior is the most important decision of your life. Is. Okay, so we found the verbs of the sentence. Now we need to find any and all verbals. And we could have a combination of gerunds, participles, infinitives. We could have one or one or two or three or just one. So in sentence number 1, running water is not so easily frozen as standing water. In this particular sentence, we have two participles. Running is talking about water. It's acting as an adjective. Standing is talking about water, acting as an adjective. Okay, so these two are participles. He apologized for speaking angrily. In this instance, check this out right here. Let's see if I can use my different pen. For speaking angrily is a prepositional phrase. I can't get that to do what I want it to do. Let's see. Let's try it one more time here before I give up. There we go. For speaking angrily is a prepositional phrase. For is your preposition. Speaking angrily is your gerund phrase. So you might be asking me, Mrs. Nichols, where is the verbal speaking? Okay. gerund phrase, speaking angrily, acts as the object of the preposition for. So it's a gerund phrase. But you don't have to know that it's a gerund phrase at this point. You just have to be able to tell me that that's a verbal and not a verb. Okay, doing the will of God is the sole purpose of man. I agree. Okay, so this whole section here, doing the will of God, is a gerund phrase. Okay, it's acting as the subject of the sentence. Remember when we just got through diagramming? Okay, doing the will of God, that's the subject. Doing is the verbal. Now, if we had the sentence that said, to do the will of God, then we would have an infinitive phrase as the subject of the sentence, and you would be circling this part. But either way, you're circling the verbal. Okay, and then this last one, choosing Jesus Christ as your Savior is the most important decision of your life. Once again, choosing Jesus Christ as your Savior is a gerund phrase, acting as the subject of the sentence. All you have to do is choosing. I know that verbals can be challenging. Okay, I know that. And this is probably one of the most advanced concepts that you work with in grammar. But if you can just find the verbs and the verbals and tell the difference between the two, then that's one step farther to increasing your understanding in grammar and making you a really awesome English student. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm here to help you.